Morning YouTube, morning Twitch, awkward, Corey, whatever you want to call me. I answered either, or just, hey dude, whichever works. Oh man. I took a nap yesterday, like midweek, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, whatever. After we did some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, I slept for like 3 or 4 hours, which caused me to stay up until like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm still up at this time, so thank you, body, for being helpful. So we'll go ahead and get it started. What's up? So, yeah, obligatory is a breakfast. I forgot something. I'll be right back. Seriously. Anyway, so that's going to be a little, 45-second lapse in the stream and the recording. But that's okay, because I'm new to this and I don't care. I'm going to get my first bite of breakfast in the morning. Oh, I'm so good for this. That was fucking brilliant. So yeah, let's talk about yesterday and the plans I had for yesterday. So, first and foremost, I was going to drop off my mom's laundry to her. Well, you guys have been with me, at least those who have been here or watching my videos, so you know my mom has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. It's spread through her system, all through her body. She's currently in hospice care, but previously I told you that she's been, fighting the good fight, getting up, walking around, going out, doing her thing. Unfortunately, over the last couple days, unbeknownst to me and to my aunt who has power of attorney, she has entered the rapid decline stage of her cancer. She really can't get out of bed anymore. Yesterday when we went, I took the kids with me. I took my wife with me to drop off our laundry. She was aware to a degree. She was able to move. She really, craved physical touch. She wanted to hug all of us. She wanted, to kiss us on the cheek, kiss us on the forehead. She was able to say, "I love you." Okay, not really much more than that, and that might have been the grogginess from the medication because she can no longer swallow, really at all. So they have to crush up medication if they can, and then puree her food so it can just slide down her throat. Anyone who's gone through this with a relative or a friend or anything like that, this process, and it broke me in the moment. Like it literally broke me. I knew this would happen because I've gone through this with relatives before. It's such a dramatic change from one day being up and about to barely being cognizant of people around you. I got a hold of my aunt. I got a hold of my brother for the final time. I'm just like, listen, man, because as you know, I've talked to you about this. They had a falling out, and he had been refusing to come see her. And I messaged him like, dude, this is now or never. You can either come now, and she can be aware of your presence, or you can see her at the fucking funeral, dude. And he immediately jumped in a car, got a ride. However he got there, we weren't able to stay because we had a meeting with my lawyer, which I'll get into, or our lawyer, my wife's lawyer. And he got there, he visited. She actually sat up when he came in. So it's, and then my aunt also switched her plans from coming today to yesterday. Because I was just like, the nurse told me she doesn't know how long she's going to be aware. It could be another couple days, it could be 12 hours, it could be 3 hours. They don't know. When you're in the rapid decline stage of this cancer, it's just kind of now or never. So my aunt rushed down there with her husband, and she said that she had not really conversation with her, but she was lucid enough to be aware of their presence and talking incomplete, not really coherent sentences, but kind of enough to get her point across for the most part. Like I said, she was just craving physical touch. She wanted to be hugged, and it's at that point right now. It's very unfortunate. Optimistically, might have another 2 to 3 days of being aware, and then how it'll work is she'll fall into a coma, and then her bodily functions and her organs will start shutting down, and then she'll pass away. I don't know if I'm going to be available to be there when that happens. I hope I am. Every family member that I've had that has passed away in a way like this, I've been there with them. I'm the member of my family that is able to do that. There's people who are just not able to be with people as they pass away, and there's no shame in that. Some people cannot handle death at all, especially of loved ones or ones close to them. I'm not one of those people. I handle it. I deal with it. No one should be without a family member or someone close before they pass away. That's my opinion, if it's at all possible, I should say. That is, after the stream, I'm going to get around and attempt to go over there. Like I said, it's snowing, and my wife and I's vehicle isn't exactly good in snow, but it's not that far, and we can generally take back roads, or I may not even take back roads this time. I may just take primary roads to get there because they'll be more dealt with. And I'm going to keep going every day until she just isn't aware of my presence and isn't aware of our presence, I should say. Because my wife's going to come with me, my kids are going to come with me we want to give her, because I'm fairly certain that every day is, or every hour, maybe a reset in her mind. She won't remember that people are there. So I kind of want to give her that fresh feeling of people are there for her, every single day. We don't stay long. It destroys my wife to be there. My kids really don't understand. So they kind of bug to play with grandma. They kind of bug to play games or be on our bed or, try to talk to her. And, really, how do you explain to a 7 and a 5-year-old, what's happening? They understand to a degree what death is. They understand that person is gone and they're in heaven. That's my wife's belief. That's their belief. I'm not a religious person whatsoever. We could get into that at some other point. But yeah, so kind of where I'm at right now. We're the only ones close enough with the means to be able to go to her like that. We're the only ones that give a shit. Enough. I know my aunt and uncle and that side of the family, if they could be here often and every day, they would, but everyone has their own life, and You can only sacrifice so much time and so much effort to be around during this process, during this end stage. Some people may be like, no, you've got to be there regardless of anything. No, it's not realistic, people. Like, I will tell you right now that if you have a friend, a parent, a family member dying from cancer, dying from anything that's a slow degrade, and then it moves into a rapid degrade, please do not ruin or put your life into a bad position to be there for them. Now, I'm not saying don't go to them when you have that availability to do so. But if you have to cancel work, if you have to cancel appointments that you really need, if, kids are going to get in trouble with not being at school, if any of these things are going to put a serious detriment into your life, you have to understand that the person passing away is passing away. And if you've been a decent human being, you've already been with them several times over this process, please do not feel bad about keeping your life stable. Because I fucking promise you that whoever is passing away would be pissed if you put yourself in the hole to be around them while they're dying. They would be fucking pissed. I know my mom would be. If she was lucid enough to be able to talk to me in any type of way or hit me, she'd slap the fuck out of me. If I rearrange stuff in a negative way to be able to be there, she would be super fucking pissed off. Because she knows we're in financial turmoil. She knows that there are issues that we're going through right now. And she understands that. And everyone that goes through this needs to understand that also. It may feel bad. It may feel like you're a terrible human being for not being there at all times. That's not the case. And your family member or your friend or whoever's going through this understands that too. I fucking promise you they do. Now, if you've never been there for them during the entire time, and you're actively making excuses when you could have time to go see them, then you're a fucking terrible person. And you really need to reevaluate your life, because fuck you. But in most scenarios, people feel like they need to drop everything that they're doing, maybe put themselves in debt, maybe get in trouble at work, maybe get in trouble at school to be there for someone. And I am guilty of this. I have dropped classes before in college. I have, taken an entire month off to go take care of a family member because no one else would, instead of saying, listen, I can't put a detriment into my education because people who actually can take care of her or afford to have someone else take care of her refuse to do so. But I did it anyway. And I don't regret my decision for dropping school or, losing jobs to come help family members. I don't regret that. But was it the correct decision? No, it wasn't. It was not the correct decision. I should have come and helped them when I could and stayed at my work, stayed at school, done this and done that. Please do not ruin your life, a long life that you have ahead of you, because you think you need to be there for someone who will not have a long life. That is not the way. And the people that are passing away would be so fucking disappointed in you for doing that. It may be altruistic, it may be selfless, but it's not smart and it's not right. It's probably an opinion people will not agree with me on, and you know what? That's fine. You don't need to agree with me on anything, but that is my quote-unquote hot take on this topic. Don't ruin your own life to be there for someone whose life is ending. At least if you've been there consistently. Now, if you call into work because hospice or whoever called and said, listen, they're going today, that's different. This is the first time you've ever done that, blah, 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 then one day of work, one day of school, one day of class, whatever, isn't going to fucking matter. Call in, get there. If it's that one time that you're there for them, then let it be that one time. but don't consistently ruin your life to be there for someone like that, because they're going to get pissed at you. Whatever your religious belief of life after death, or, you know, omniscience after death, or whatever after death, if you think that they are aware and watching over you after that, they're going to be fucking pissed at you if you do that. Because then they have to watch you struggle. And that's something that they never wanted. So I'll get off that tangent for a second, but it's just the update. Like, my mom has started into that rapid decline, and it's an any day now process. And quite frankly, I'm hoping it's soon, because she is suffering, she is confused, she is scared, and no one deserves to go through that during their end of life. When it comes to this stage of that, it needs to be quick. If there's no hope of recovery, if there's no hope of coming back out of this decline, it needs to happen quickly. And, you know, as peacefully as possible. No one deserves to live in a suspended state of life, in pain, in fear, in confusion. That is cruel. And I will never change my opinion on that. If I ever got to that point, I hope assisted suicide is legal at that point, because when I get to the point where I'm in that rapid decline and I'm confused, and I'm not afraid of death at all. I've already accepted that inevitability. It doesn't worry me. But just because that is what's in my head right now doesn't mean that that's what's going to be in my head during that process, because your mind is affected dramatically with all the meds and with whatever you're going through. During that process, if I do go through that process, I hope that someone will just let me go. You know, just let me go as peacefully as possible. That's all I want. I don't want to make my family suffer. I don't want to make my friends suffer. This elongated life thing, it hurts everybody. Now, if the person makes their wishes known that they want to hold on as long as humanly possible, then go for it. Fight the good fight. You hold the fuck on as long as you can, and your family will see how strong of a person you are, and that will give them strength. But I think in general, when it gets to this stage, the quicker the better for everyone involved. So I'm hoping that when she becomes completely unaware of everything, that it's fast, and that it's painless, and that it's peaceful. That's exactly what she deserves. She deserves to leave this world in the most peaceful manner possible, because she was one of the best people I've ever known. That's my opinion on that matter, and I just wanted to update you guys to let you know that, you know, maybe over the next 2 to 3 days, there's going to be an announcement that my mom has passed away. I may not stream that day. I don't know what my reaction to it is going to be. You never know until it happens. So past that, we visited her, got a hold of family, got a hold of some of her closer friends, told them what was going on, told them that they need to come now. Left there, went and paid our internet bill in person because we had a $5 discount. And that may not seem big to some people, but since we were already over there visiting my mother, might as well save $5, because $5 in gas right now is a couple gallons, and that's nice. After that, we made our way to meet with my wife's lawyer about custody, parenting time, bullshit with my daughter and her bio father. Lawyer was unfortunately about 45 minutes late, which he didn't really give us a reason other than that he was held up. Shit happens, I guess, but it would have been nice to shoot us a text, you know, at the time that you weren't going to be there. And even if you couldn't give us an ETA, at least shoot us something, man. I understand that you're sticking with us, even though we're not able to pay him at the moment. And man, is that a godsend. And I will use thank God, godsend, you know, all these godly words, just because it's what I was around. It's what I was, quote unquote, taught to say or be appreciative for, even though I don't. That's not my leaning. It's part of my, you know, vocabulary now. And plus it makes people happy, I guess. I don't fucking know. Anyway. So, ended up getting there, and we had printed out texts from my daughter's biological father. So So let's reverse a little bit, backtrack a little bit. Um, he denied us a couple hours of parenting time a few months ago. We went to FOC, which is friend of the court. We put in the documentation saying he denied parenting time. And then I put a few other things on there. Situations he's put my daughter into, bullshit excuses he's used. The court order, we have a court order that says we are to drop her off at his residence, which is about an hour away. And then he is to drop off to our residence, which obviously is an hour away, on Sunday, so we can get her to school through the week. Blah blah blah. Right? He has never dropped off at our residence ever, other than one time. And was it one time? Yeah, other than one time out of that entire process. So we decided, let's be civil, let's be decent people, even though we shouldn't have been. Let's meet in the middle. That way it's like a 10, 12-minute drive for so it's not an hour away, it's like 35 minutes away. So it's like a 15-minute drive for both of us. Right? That's great. And he still had refused to do that. He would refuse to drop her off to just me, because my wife refused to drop off to his girlfriend at the time. The issue with that is his girlfriend doesn't have a driver's license. So you're telling me that you're going to have your girlfriend with no license drive by herself to pick up my daughter? No. Nah, not fucking happening, bro. Sorry. I have a license. I have no criminal record. Girlfriend does. Ex-girlfriend, by the way. As far as I know, they're on the outs completely, which, good for her. There's just... I'm not going to get into it because it's ridiculous to me. Anyway, so there is a series of... So he got a summons to court over the parenting time, and just the parenting time. And then he had to write a refutal of, do you deny that you denied parenting time, blah, blah, blah. And there was like this huge, long paragraph. Actually, an extended paragraph. It's the most grammatically incorrect thing I've seen in my fucking life. And I have TA'd for fucking... Let's just say that, second and third graders are more grammatically correct than what this refutal was. And in this refutal, he brought up things that aren't even related to parenting time. That aren't even related to custody. Basically trying to slander me and my wife. And it was just a ton of lies. And I'm not saying it was lies because I'm lying or anything like that. He just flat out lied, which he's used to. He lies a lot. Now, the issue with these lies is that it's an official court refutal to the judge in the city that we're in. Anyone that knows law whatsoever, that's called perjury. And we have proof that he perjured himself. Physical evidence showing that what he put in his official refutal was lies. There's another part of this court document, the court order, that says that my daughter's not allowed to be around his biological parents due to sexual abuse charges that had their kids taken away from them when they were young. Now, those charges were expunged, I think, in 2015 or 2016, which, great, cool, good for you. You can now work with children. It's not a thing for employers. However, it is a thing for me. I don't care if it was expunged. You still did some fucked up shit. I don't want you around my daughter. We put that in the court order. Our lawyer put in the 7-day, if you don't agree with this, deny it, blah, blah, blah. He put in 2 7-day notices for this update to the court order. They weren't denied, so it was written into document. And he admitted in his official refutal to having his biological mother drop off my kid. Dude, really? And those are just the obvious things in the court document and in the refutal. And then we have text messages, obviously, from him that also, prove his refutal was lies. Our lawyer looked at it, and the entire time he was reading through, we had maybe like 20 pages of texts, screenshotted text, and he's just shaking his head the entire time, and he's just like, he's literally like, what the fuck? And we're like, yeah. Now before I came around, my wife and him, their back and forth weren't really healthy. They were instigating each other. They were swearing at each other. It was this, that, blah, 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 And so neither of them really had a leg to stand on. The judge that they are seeing just didn't give a fuck. He's just like, listen, you guys are going back and forth. You're instigating each other. You're both at fault here. Just stick to the fucking court order for split custody, whatever. When I came around, I told her and I explained to her, I'm just like, stop that. Don't do that. Anytime that he texts you, messages you, don't answer any of his calls. No, you don't need to talk to him. He can text you. Don't be upset with him. Don't swear at him. Don't threaten him. Don't do any of this. Which was something she didn't understand initially. She's just like, well, why should I have to be like this if he's like this? And I'm like, babe, I promise you, trust me, just let him go off. Let him be this type of person. And so she trusted in me. She stopped, I guess, instigating, if you want to call it instigating, blah, blah, blah. They stopped that back and forth. And she stick to the court document. This is parenting time. This is the official document. This is what's supposed to be what. Look at this. This is official. She can't be around these people. This is official. And he comes back with, fuck you, fuck this, you're a bitch, you're an asshole, blah, blah, blah. I'm not giving you your daughter, blah, blah, random bullshit. And all those texts from the last X amount of months are showing that. And our lawyer's just like, whoever told you to act like this now, it's perfect. Because now he's just burying himself under a pile of bullshit. While we're sitting here taking care of our daughter, taking care of our son, making sure they have food on the table, making sure that they have a warm place to live, making sure that they get to school. Doing what parents are supposed to fucking do, right? Yeah. So, it's just this whole big drama thing, and unfortunately, we're going to need to not open up another case, but we need to make a different motion because we can't, even when we have this proof, even if the judge does see perjury, the obvious perjury, and what he's doing, it's just, I don't know if it's going to matter. This case is literally about parenting time. We have a court date coming up. It's not us, it's just him. He was summoned to the court to defend himself on why he held her from us, blah, blah, blah. And what I think was going to happen was actually what the lawyers, he agreed with it. It's just like, yeah, most likely what's going to happen is he's going to come in, he's going to be like, what's your excuse for not getting her there on time? His excuse in his official refutal was he had a lump in his tire. That's it. Now, that is good enough a reason not to drive the child in the car because it is dangerous. A lump in the tire can lead to, an exploded tire, blah, 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 flat tire, whatever. But when he told us that he couldn't make it or whatever, he told us his car was broken down. I don't know about you guys, but you can go get a fucking fix-it tire from a junkyard for $10. If you don't have $10, get a tire to drop off your daughter. You probably shouldn't have your daughter. The judge that is in charge of this case, he's not gonna take that excuse. He's gonna be like, really? No. But what I think is going to happen is exactly that. The judge is going to be like, it's not a good enough reason. You owe them X hours of parenting time. At this point, I think it's just like 2 or 3 hours of parenting time. And then that'll be it. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, I think her biological father is going to try to push it and be like, well, they're keeping her from me. They're doing this. They're doing that. And if the judge even listens to him, which I don't think he will, because I don't think the judge likes him very much, even if he does, we're going to be there. Our lawyer said he'll be there for us so that we don't do anything we're not supposed to do. Which this guy, our lawyer, is a fucking rock star. He's been so helpful with absolutely no pay yet. Obviously, we're going to pay him when we can, but he's been helping us without pay. And that's just, those types of attorneys, those type of people are the people that I love to represent me and my family. Because they're doing it because they know it's right and they care. You don't want someone who only represents you because they get money. Will they be a better lawyer? Maybe. You know, generally the people that are the best at their jobs won't do it for free. But in this case, does our lawyer need to be the best lawyer on the planet? No. It helps that he's a really, really, really good lawyer, but he doesn't need to be the best. This is a fucking slam dunk for anyone who knows the situation. But even if the judge does listen to him, we have physical proof that he has bed bugs. And we have proof that over the last X months that we've been keeping our daughter from him, that he's refused to get an inspection, he's refused to get treatment. He lives in a trailer park. Inspections and treatments, $0. And if whoever is in charge of the trailer park is telling him that they need to pay money, well, they're trying to extort him, and that's on him. It's not my fucking problem. So, and the judge is going to be like, dude, it's not going to cost you money to get an inspection. Not if you live in a trailer park. If you live in an apartment complex, it's not how that fucking works. They're in charge of that shit. They're in charge of that bill. So I think how it's gonna go is just like I said. He's gonna owe us parenting time, and if the judge listens to him about why we're keeping her, we're going to make it very clear that we are not keeping her for any spiteful reason, any negative reason. We're keeping her because bed bugs are a legitimate health concern. They are dangerous. People have lost their kids for bed bugs alone. And we've gone through 4 treatments to get those motherfuckers out of our apartment. We have busted our asses to make sure that our children are safe, that we're safe, that our animals are safe. And we've gotten rid of them. Because we're responsible fucking adults and we care about our kids. He has refused to do any of it. And we're going to tell the judge, be like, listen, we're not doing this for any negative reason, and we are more than happy to make up the parenting time when he gets treated or inspected. And once we get the paperwork, the documentation that says he doesn't have any bugs, then we'll make up that parenting time. However, if she goes over there and she comes back and we find bugs again, we know that he is also not sticking to the court order even further, because that means she's going somewhere where she isn't supposed to be, which is his biological parents' home. Which means they have bugs. And if that happens, we're just going to keep her again until they get treated or they get inspected. Again, it's legitimate reasoning. So, we also think he may try once, if he even gets her back, to keep her from us because he claims we have bed bugs. Well, unfortunately for him, we have documentation for 4 treatments, and we have documentation saying we're all clear. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how the lawyer meeting went. Basically, it's just all positive for us. Is it going to be an elongated process where we have to go through this and that? Yes, but we're not in the wrong with anything we're doing. Our interactions with him are completely civil, or as civil as they can be. There is some back and forth, but our lawyer said no person in the world, no judge in the world can expect you to not be emotional about your children and about the situation that's happening. So there should be some back and forth here and there. If not, then it's kind of like you really don't even care that much, right? So there is some emotion back and forth, but 99% of the time, my wife has remained completely civil. She tells him to stick to the court order, and he just goes off. He's an abusive asshole, and that's just how he's always going to be, most likely. So yeah. So after that lawyer meeting, uh, dropped everyone off at home, uh, made some ramen for everyone in a big pot. We're kind of low on food for the next couple days. We don't get food stamps till the 9th. We really don't have any food in the house, which is really bad for me because I have a strict diet that I stick to, and unfortunately we can't afford anything for that diet right now, which is fine. I can go a few days eating what I need to. But my wife makes this awesome mac and cheese with like bacon and stuff like that. Unfortunately, bacon's expensive. So, and we had noodles already, thankfully. So I was able to go to the store, and with what limited funds we do have, I got a couple things of shredded cheese, a big canister nacho cheese sauce, and I used chicken that I'm supposed to use for my, chicken and rice or chicken and pasta. We just made this huge, container, and then huge, like, pot of mac and cheese with chicken. So that's kind of going to feed, everyone for the most part for the next couple days. So that was good. Kids are still pretty bad. It's nearing the end of their Christmas break, though. They go back to school tomorrow morning. Thankfully, I think they're getting bored at home, and they're finding new and creative ways to mess around and do things they're not supposed to do. They have brand new toys, and yesterday we caught them playing with like a plastic bag, like a big plastic bag, like trying to put it over their heads, closing it and jumping on it. This is a bag meant for my son's, Hot Wheels cars. And they're messing around with it in ways they really shouldn't be messing around with it with. And I go in there and I snatch it up and I'm like, are you guys serious right now? You just had Christmas, you have tons of brand new toys, and you're playing with a bag, something you're not supposed to be playing with, by the way. And I think that's the appeal to children. They do stuff they're not supposed to do because you're not supposed to do it. That feels good. It feels good as an adult. But as an adult, you actively know that this is not a correct choice to do something that feels good, that's not good. At least most of the time. So I think they're just getting restless. They don't care what they're playing with. They're just loud. They're banging against the walls. They're jumping around. So they need to go back to school. My daughter's not going to have an issue with that. My son might. Right now, we're going to be in the process of transferring my son from one school to another, to where my daughter goes to school. They have better resources for him and just for kids in general. Where he's going right now, no. They've called CPS on us several times. He has eczema and he scratches. And then he bloodies up his face, which turns into scabs and stuff like that. He has creams. We give him Benadryl, half a tablet Benadryl. He has medication that he is on. Whenever it gets bad, we have to take him to the doctor. We're not neglecting him in any way, shape, or form. We can't stop him from scratching. And you can't. You literally can't. It's impossible. We can explain to him, if you keep scratching like this, it's going to mess up your face. You're going to get bloody. You're going to get scabs. You're eventually going to get scars. You might have to get shots in the future, which he does not like. You've got to take this nasty medication. You've got to take these nasty pills. You got to do this, this, and that. You got to go to the doctor, which you don't like doing. And we can explain this to him until we're blue in the face, and he just doesn't care. So, and all of these things, the school knows. Now I know that if there is something like this, it is the obligation of the school to contact the police or contact CPS or whatever if there is no previous information given. They know all of this. We've explained this to them in person in meetings that we have monthly for him. And then they actually called the police on us because he was out of school for a week. Now, the first half of that week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he was suspended from school for punching a teacher in the stomach. We're not going to get into this. But anyway. And they failed to mention that to the police. So the police came, and on Thursday, we kept him from school because he was just completely broke out, blah, blah, blah. And the next 2 days, he had staph infection. Which we informed the school of, by the way. We gave them reasonings why he wasn't in school for the days that he wasn't. They still called the police. And police didn't know anything about this. They were just told that he hasn't been in school in a week. Motherfuckers, you're literally lying to the police when you suspended him for half the week for one, and for the second reason, we told you why he's not in school. He has staph. We'll send him to school. He can give everyone else staph. That's fine. Fuck you. There's a difference between doing what you're supposed to do as educators and being fucking assholes. And that was being a fucking asshole. He has come home from school telling us that some of his aides have been mean to him or this, and that. And he lies. He lies all the time. He's just a liar. I understand this. But if this is a consistent thing, he's saying that this male aide that he's around says this to him or says that to him or, tells him he can't do this or he can't do that when he can actually do that or this. We have no way of finding out for sure. None. Because whenever we ask, there's always a different story. It's always an altered story. I'm more prone to trust adults than a 7-year-old child with autism. But in that same sentence, I don't know. I have expressed to them and to my wife that let me find out that he's telling the truth about these people being rude and mean to him at school. I am not someone you mess with. I am not someone whose kids you mess with. I will destroy that school. I will destroy that school without a second thought. So, instead of me going scorched earth on people that are just fucking terrible, we're going to transfer him. And that's the process we're going to start on Monday. Get him the fuck out of there, into a school with his sister, and hopefully around better people. Because right now, his behaviors at school have just been erratic and horrible, and they suspend him all the time. You have to pick him up all the time. Thankfully, when he decides to be an asshole at school, it's generally between the hours of 10 a.m. to noon, which is before my wife goes to work. So we actually are able to go get him. The unfortunate part is it's on the opposite side of town that we live. Our car is not in the best shape right now. Gas isn't expensive, but we're broke. So he needs to stop that bullshit. So, yeah. Yesterday the kids were pretty rough around the edges. They were a little bit better, so I ungrounded them from their beds. They were allowed to be in their room, playing around, playing with toys and stuff like that. They just had to keep it down, which I had to tell them several times to keep it down. I know they're kids, they're loud, but, I have taught them inside and outside voices. And they're actually on this opposite wall right there. So whenever they're getting too much, I can hear them clearly. And I tell them that. And they don't understand or remember or care. So yeah, it's just been this long process, and they're just not listening. They're being disrespectful, and I think it's because they're just getting restless being home. And it's not like we don't take them out places. It's not like they don't go play at the playground that's in our complex. It's not like any of that, They want a different environment, I guess, for the most part. So, and they're getting it tomorrow, thankfully. And hopefully we can get him transferred to the other school, because right now they have 2 different bus schedules in the morning and at drop off. And, you know, previous to now, my wife is the one that had to get up by herself and get the kids around and get them out to the bus. Now my sleep schedule is, for the most part, fixed, so I can get up with her in the morning and help with that. But there's like an hour difference between when my son and daughter gets on the bus, and there's an hour difference between when they get off the bus. My wife generally will get them to the bus stop in the morning and get them off to school, and then since she has to go to work before my son gets off the bus, and he gets off the bus first, I'm the one that gets them off the bus, so, which is fine. It's great. Unfortunately, I don't have any type of winter coat right now, so I basically wear like 2 hoodies and then a sweatshirt to go out because, you know, I don't have a winter coat. We really can't afford a winter coat. When my wife gets paid again, I'm going to go to St. Vincent, which is like the Salvation Army, if you guys know what that is. Try to find something for myself. Hat, gloves, something. Because with the weight I'm losing, like right now, like what I'm wearing right now, you know, it looks a little snug on me, but it's a 2X. And I haven't been able to actually wear a 2X in any way, shape, or form for years. So I'm appreciative that I can fit into this. My mom got it for me, so. So after that, we just had the mac and cheese for dinner. There's a lot of tournaments going on this weekend, which I'm so fucking stoked for. Pokemon tournaments, Magic tournaments. I love watching tournaments. I love watching competitive everything. It's great. I love it. It's fun. Woo! So yeah. So yeah. That's pretty much what happened yesterday. Now what's happening today? I spent 46 minutes talking about what happened yesterday and ranting about bullshit. I know, that's pretty much what I do, right? What's happening today is pretty much nothing. Gonna get up like I did, finish my breakfast. Wife's gonna get up, have some breakfast. Kids are gonna have some breakfast. Probably gonna go see my mom or attempt to see my mom. If she's no longer coherent or cognizant of what's happening around her, you know, gonna give her a kiss, tell her I love her, say goodbye. Same with the kids, same with the wife. And then I'm gonna tell the nurses, this is like when you guys think it's time, get a hold of me. I'll try to make it there so I can be with her. Other than that, I do not believe, like once someone goes into some type of coma, I truly don't believe they're aware anymore. And if they are, I don't think it matters. So I don't think it's worth hurting myself, my wife, or my kids to be there when she's just basically going to be a vegetable until she passes. That may be harsh. That's my belief. So I just don't believe there's a point to go after her awareness goes away. It's just, there's just no point. You know, when the nurses tell me it's close, I'll sit there for however long it takes until she goes. You know, that's different. But so we'll see about that. Not sure if we will today. The snow is kind of being annoying. And like I said, our car is not healthy in the snow. But I think we're gonna go do that for an hour, maybe, if she's around, if she's cognizant. If she's not, you know, like I said, that's the plan. Come home, maybe cook a little bit, make some meals if I can. Wife gets around for work. Reevaluate if the kids can be ungrounded or not, and then watch the tournaments because it's Sunday, and then that's it. It'll be a pretty simple day. I might stream later. It'll be much later because I'm not gonna stream until the tournaments are over because I like watching them, like I said. But yeah, that's pretty much all for now. Like and subscribe my videos on YouTube and on my channel. I will subscribe back to you if you get a hold of me and tell me that you subscribe to me. On Twitter, you know, follow me on Twitter. I always follow back. I will reiterate again that if you're a graphic designer, you make graphics of any kind, and you want to follow me, specifically for the reason of offering your services, not to sound rude, I don't want your services. I want to do this by myself, at least initially. And then if I start making any money off of it, or if I start making money in general in life, I will look into a graphic designer to make more personalized stuff, because I would love like panda overlays and, you know, alerts and stuff like that. That would be fucking sweet. and I have very specific type of panda stuff that I want. So, and that's stuff I'll never be able to do because I'm not that type of individual. But yeah, follow for follows, sub for sub. That's generally how I do my thing. I like growing the community, doing what I can, etc., etc. So, thank you for anyone who did stop by. I appreciate you being here. I love you guys. And I will either see you later tonight for a Halo stream or a card game stream. Who knows? I'm thinking about streaming Disney Lorcana a little bit more, kind of getting back into that interest. And if I don't see you then, I will see you tomorrow morning for a new video. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you guys at some point in the future.